Hey guys, how you doing? So today what I've got is a quite interesting video, and you've sort of seen this top that I'm wearing. I've got my Stormtrooper top on, which can only mean one thing, and that is that I am going to do a full how would Darth Vader train video. So what I'm going to be doing is a full strength and conditioning needs analysis, looking at the character of Darth Vader, looking at what his role entails, looking at the kind of movements that he makes, what his training might do, and then I'm going to put together a full workout that you could do if you decided to train like Darth Vader. Should be pretty interesting, so stick around. I'm going to put up a few pictures, a few different bits, so you can get a sense of what the character is, some of the movements that he's doing, and what I'm referring to as we go through the video. Here's a few pictures, and I'll carry on in a moment. So, as those pictures showed, we start with the young Anakin Skywalker, and eventually as he gets drawn, closer and closer to the dark side, he becomes Darth Vader. He moves from this sort of good character over to the evil character, and this person with an immense physical and mental talent. His midichlorian count's really high, so we all know that he's got this massive, massive ability, massive potential, but it's moved over to a darker kind of, a darker element of the Force. That's the character. That's the person we're going to be talking about. But what's he going to be doing? What does he need? Well, if we look at his movement throughout the films, you'll probably notice Darth Vader doesn't run anywhere. He just walks very casually, quite menacingly from place to place, and he gets other people, probably these guys, to run around and do the dirty work for him. So cardio, not his biggest thing. He doesn't need to do cardio, so I'm not really going to be programming that much into his workout. However, what we do sort of want to get in is he's going to have to get some strength work into there. I've always assumed with Darth Vader, moving to the dark side, that his use of the Force comes sort of from an act of strength and an act of aggression. He uses a lot of aggression, a lot of anger to drive that, and we assume that that puts a lot of pressure onto his body, so this is something we've got to take into account. He's also confined to his humongous suit. Now, the Darth Vader breath, the Darth Vader breathing is famous. That is what that character is really iconic for. But we sort of assume that in that suit, so damaged from his fights before with his old master, that he's barely sort of clinging to life. This suit is keeping him alive, and he's probably going to be struggling a lot with his breathing there. So what I might put into his workout, what I might put into his training, are some diaphragmatic breathing drills to work on his breathing. I might also put in some stuff like stomach vacuums to work on his core strength, to work on breathing control, going to help keep him alive in that suit. That's what I think he might do. What else have I got written down? I've got that. Yeah, so I've got breathing drills, and I've got final scene. If you think about the final scene in Return of the Jedi, spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen Star Wars, come on, where have you been the last sort of 20, 30 years? But still, final scene, Return of the Jedi, where Darth Vader walks up, finally decides to do a good action, picks up the Emperor, picks up Darth Sidious, lifts him above his head, chucks him into the giant hole, electric, explosion, boom, end of the Emperor. But we're going to assume here that the Emperor weighs somewhere between 60 and 80 kilograms. It's a fair amount of weight to just pick up and raise above your head. So we know from this that Darth, he's got to be training his shoulders, and he's got to be training his clean. So I'm thinking movements like clean and press, maybe clean and jerk, the movements that are going to get weight from the floor to above his head. He's going to have to be training that if he's going to want to do movements like that. Even if we assume that he's quite, he's got a lot of adrenaline flowing at the time, he's still going to have a good base level of strength to pull off a feat like that. So that's what I'd recommend for that. And then lastly, this is the trickiest bit. Specific skills. So we know the scenes we get of Darth are usually him. He's going to have a lightsaber, he's going to be fighting. If he's not menacing or choking someone, he's going to be fighting someone. Now, what do we know from his style? If you look at the initial films, it seems to be based largely on kendo, okay? It's quite an upright style. The saber seems to be quite upright. The movements are quite footwork heavy, and they're quite quick, quite snappy. The closest parallel that I can think of for that in the world of sport is kendo. So if I'm looking at that, I've gone into different kendo forums, I've looked at different strength training and conditioning books in relation to kendo, and overwhelmingly, they seem to suggest that grip strength, lower back work, shoulder work, and the sort of strength through the core and your legs is key. So it's explosive, agile movements to be able to react quickly and to control the blade. So these are the things that we're going to have to work into his program. Putting all this together, I'm going to chuck you a few more pictures, and in a couple of minutes I'll show you the entire workout I've put together, combining all the different things I've just talked about into how Darth Vader might train if he had to. Right, so last but not least, I've put together everything into a training plan. I'll probably just put some links in the description, or just describe it in the description so you can see in a bit more detail, it's a bit more organised for you. But what I've done is I've divided his week into essentially 3 or 4 different sections. His Monday and his Wednesday and his Friday are all going to be based around power training, so the strength movements that are going to assist his kendo and assist his day-to-day Darthly duties. Monday, he's going to have to get some power training. I've got him on 3x5 squats, 3x5 power cleans, plus some grip work, plus some core development. Wednesday, he's got some 5x3 box jumps, 3x5 on the overhead press, plus grip work and some core strength. And then Friday, I've got him heavy singles on the clean and press, some good mornings for lower back strength, and some grip work and some core strength. So most of this is going to be in the 80 to 90% range. It's going to be fairly heavy work. It's going to be really emphasizing those type 2B fast twitch muscle fibers, getting him moving quick, getting him powerful, lifting heavy weights, getting ready to chuck the emperor down the humongous hole. That's the first one. Then every morning, breathing drills I talked about his stomach vacuums, his diaphragmatic breathing. Every single morning he's going to be doing both of those. Making sure that he's sort of paying attention to the way he breathes. There's plenty of videos online about that. Check it out so you can see what I'm talking about. That's what Darth's going to be doing. And then what else have I got? 2 times a week. So a Tuesday and a Thursday. He's going to need to get some practice in at the actual art of sword fighting, whether that's from a kendo basis, more from a lightsaber basis. Of course, this is a fictional world, so they might have different styles, different martial art equivalents, where they learn different methods of fighting, but he will have to practice that at least twice a week, a good couple of hours, intense practice, focusing on the techniques and the movements to keep those fresh. However talented he is, the central nervous system needs to keep those habits, needs to keep ticking over and remembering those things. So that's what he's going to have. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are more of his strength training. Each morning he's got his breathing drills, and then Tuesday and Thursday he's got his sword fighting. And that is that. So that's the entire workout that I'm going to go through. That's what it'll be doing. If you like the video, then like the video. If you want to see some more of these sort of quirky, weird character analysis, strength and conditioning videos, then make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Leave me some comments below. Got anything else that I think I should have included, or got any suggestions for some more fictional characters that you want to see me break down, strength and conditioning, write a program for them? Let me know, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.